What's your name?
You know, it's the darndest thing. I can't remember.
The Strange Man is a strange character in the Red Dead Redemption series. He seems to know John Marston very well, even recalling events from John's past with the Vanderlyn gang that John himself doesn't even remember.
Do you remember Hattie McCourt's face?
Who?
She was a girl Dutch Vanderlyn shot in the head on that raid on the ferry a few years back. Same one you got shot on. Pretty girl, until her eye was hanging out by a thread of tendon and her brain was plastered over a wall.
The Strange Man refers to himself as an accountant in a way.
What are you doing here?
My accounts. I'm an accountant.
Is that so?
In a way.
In Red Dead Redemption 2, the Strange Man has a shack in Bayall Edge, Lemoyne. The shack is filled with cryptic writings referencing Armadillo, Herbert Moon, and cholera outbreak affecting New Austin. Inside the shack, if you play as Arthur Morgan, players find an incomplete painting of the Strange Man. When John Marston visits the shack during the epilogue, the painting gradually becomes more complete. John records his thoughts about the painting in his journal, describing it as fascinating, awful, and seductive all at once. Once the painting is fully completed, John sees the Strange Man's reflection in the mirror. However, when he turns around, the figure is gone. Eerie, right? But we didn't reach to the end of it. Hints about the Strange Man appear through other characters. Herbert Moon, the shopkeeper in Armadillo, owns a smaller portrait of the Strange Man in his store. When questioned, he dismisses its significance, claiming he keeps it simply because he likes it.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's just a little portrait somebody gave me once. I always quite liked it. Why?
No reason. Just seemed familiar. Anyway.
Blind Man Cassidy. This character warns John about two individuals seeking him, Edgar Ross and another mysterious figure implied to be the Strange Man. Cassidy senses Ross's hatred but cannot decide the Strange Man's motives.
Two strangers seek thee. One from this world, perhaps one from another. One brings hatred. I'm not so sure what the other brings.
The Strange Man plays a key role in the side mission I Know You, which is exclusive to John Marston. In this mission, John encounters the Strange Man 3 times, each time in a different location. Their conversations are cryptic, and the Strange Man assigns John morally ambiguous tasks. First one is to stop or encourage a man about to cheat on his wife.
A friend of mine is drunk as a skunk in the saloon on Thieves' Landing. I think he's going to be unfaithful to his dear wife. Why don't you head over there and see if you can advise him how best to proceed?
What do you think I am?
I know what you are, John. Just if you've got the time, friend.
The second task is to donate money to a nun's charity or rob her.
I hear that an old nun is traveling from the monastery, taking the money she raised to the bank. Why don't you head up there and see if you can lend her a hand? Road's full of thieves. Either that or rob her yourself.
The Strange Man appears one last time at Beecher's Hope, where he irritates and infuriates John with his vague answers. John attempts to shoot him, but the bullets have no effect. Calmly, the Strange Man walks away, leaving John and the player with more questions than answers.
Tell me your name or I won't be responsible for my actions.
Oh, but you will. You will be responsible. This is a fine spot. See you around, cowboy.
Damn you!
Yes, many have.
Interestingly, this location later becomes the gravesite of John, Abigail, and Uncle. I didn't mention that near the end of this encounter, John fires 3 bullets at the strange man, but before he can fire the 4th, his gun jams. The first 3 bullets could represent how John, Uncle, and Abigail died, while the 4th one jamming represents Jack being spared. It's an interesting theory. The strange man's appearance is distinctive. He wears a black 2-piece suit, gray vest, black tie, and a top hat. His pale skin, well-groomed mustache, and thoughtful yet eerie eyes give him a ghostly presence. The strange man has a strong connection to Armadillo and its shopkeeper, Herbert Moon. Writings in his shack suggest Herbert Moon made a deal with the strange man, trading happiness for 2 generations. Herbert is one of these residents in Armadillo unaffected by the cholera outbreak. The shack contains a map of Armadillo with a note that says, "I offered you happiness or 2 generations. You made your choice." A letter found on Herbert Moon detailed his daughter's marriage and pregnancy, possibly tying 2 generations to his family's survival. Rockstar Games intentionally leaves the strange man's true identity ambiguous. Players have speculated about his role. He resembles Josiah Trelawney from the Vanderlyn Gang in both appearance and attire, but Rockstar Games have confirmed that he's not the strange man. However, Arthur mentions in his journal prior to the ferry job in Blackwater that he saw a stranger that looks like Trelawney, even though he hadn't seen him for months. And one interesting fact is, if Arthur antagonizes Josiah in camp, he may say that Trelawney is a strange man.
You're a strange man, Trelawney.
And who's next?
Real strange.
Why are you doing this?
One interesting fact is that the strange man's shack also contains paintings that can be changed based on the player's honor level. If your honor level is high, the paintings show eagles and bucks. If your honor is low, paintings show vultures and coyotes. Similar to Red Dead Redemption's honor system shown during the cutscenes. The strange man frequently hints at future events. During the mission I Know You, he remarks, "This is a fine spot," referring to the location that eventually becomes John, Uncle, and Abigail's graves.
This is a fine spot. See you around, cowboy.
In an earlier encounter, John sarcastically says, "I'll let the appropriate authorities judge my morality," to which the strange man replies, "Yes, you will, and they shall." This actually foreshadows John's death at the hands of Edgar Ross and his men.
I'll let the appropriate authorities judge my morality, friend.
Yes, you will. And they shall.
Him saying, "You've forgotten far more important people than me," probably resembles Arthur Morgan.
You've forgotten far more important people than me.
He seems to know about the Blackwater massacre, as he was in Blackwater, since he knows what happened in the massacre in details as he mentioned it to John. Arthur writing in his journal that he saw a stranger that looks like Trelawney. To me, these 2 clues are enough to confirm that he was in Blackwater. His portrait is featured in John's bedroom at Beecher's Hope. If the player threatened him with a gun, he responds with unsettling lines like, "You always were a nasty little orphan," or "You haven't changed," showing that the strange man knows John very well, even though when he was a young kid.
You always were a nasty little orphan.
And I actually made a video about John Marston's backstory. You can check it out there. The strange man is referenced by the fortune speaker machine Nazar Speaks in GTA Online. When reading the player's fortune, Nazar can say, "I see a strange man in a tall hat. He frightens me."
I see a strange man in a tall hat. He frightens me.
The strange man is one of the most enigmatic characters in the Red Dead Redemption series, shrouded in mystery, symbolism, and moral ambiguity. Hope you like this video and this video idea, and if you have other ideas, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys, and goodbye.